Hello, I'm Sarah from the Babywearing Academy and I'm here today to talk to you about the Moby Easy Wrap. Now, I have to say there are many things I could call this sling. Easy Wrap probably wouldn't be one of them. If you're just kind of dipping your toes into the worlds of slings, baby carriers, you're looking for information about different types of slings and you've kind of hit on this. If you're overwhelmed by the idea of a standard stretchy wrap, just a long piece of fabric that you tie around yourself, get a close kaboo, get a koala baby care band, don't get this. Get an Ismi baby carrier, don't get this. It's just, for retailing around 55 quid, the material feels cheap, the buckles feel cheap, the padding feels cheap. It's not easy to use. I'm going to have to show you some adaptations to make it safe. So, you know, get a close kaboo, get a koala baby care band, get an Ismi carrier, don't get this. But having said all of that, if you have been given one, if you are sitting there staring at the Moby Easy Wrap and you just need to know how to use it, I can show you how to use it and how to make the adaptations to be able to make it safe, and most importantly, how to know that your baby is safe. We can do that, that's not a problem. So that's what we're here to do today. This is not a quick reference video. So if your baby is screaming at you, pause this video, go and do what you need to do with the baby, feed and change them, whatever it is you need to do. Watch this video when you've got time, and then you can practice with your baby once you've seen kind of what's going on, how to do it. So first things first, I need to find this back panel section. Yeah, this is where you're going to start. So if you hold that back panel section, you've got a head hole here. So I'm going to chuck that over my head. Now, if I were to try and do this up where it naturally sits, so I mean that's kind of down here. If I were to try and do it up down here, I know, just because I've been involved in the baby wearing world for 16 years now, I know that if I were to do that up there, this is going to be way too low. I try and put a newborn in here and they're going to have their head smack back between my boobs, which is not good in terms of maintaining their airways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it done up, then I'm going to hoik it. So these straps at the waistband, if you get hold of one of them and then, oh no, okay. Get hold of one of those buckles, then get hold of a buckle at the back and just sort of pull it round under your arm so you can see what you're doing. Plug that in. That's really loose because what I need to do is do the same on the other side. So get hold of the buckle that's behind me, pull it round under my arm so I can see what I'm doing, plug this side in. Now I'm going to find these straps and I'm going to tighten a bit, but then I'm going to hoik it. So I know that what I need is if you think about holding your newborn on your body with their head on the firm part of your chest, think about where their bum is going to end up. It's not going to be down here, which is where that was to start with. Their bum's going to sit about here. So it's kind of round the top of your natural waist or around the base of your ribs. So what I'm going to do is find that waistband and I'm going to pull it up to that natural position and then I'm going to tighten it so that it stays there. In terms of how tight it needs to be, it doesn't need to stop you eating or breathing. You're not talking about corset tight. You're just talking about it not slipping down your body as you're wearing the sling. Yeah, so nice and snug there, but I've still got room to eat and breathe. That does tend to make this section a bit loose, which is one of my issues with this carrier. If you've got a really long torso, I mean, then you still want your baby up here. So there's just kind of too much fabric. But don't panic. What we're going to do is try and improve the situation with this bit. But for now, I'm just going to leave that down there. So if you look at these flappy bits here, you'll see one of them is stitched over the top of the other one. Yeah, so this left hand side, this one that's on my left shoulder, is what's known as the inside layer. It really doesn't matter which one the baby goes into first, But when you go to spread the fabric out, you want to start with that inside layer. So the one on my left shoulder is the one I'm going to start with when I spread it out. So if I grab Robin, don't hold your baby like that. Robin's made mostly of plastic and sand. So I'm going to pick Robin up. I'm going to put them up on my shoulder like an exaggerated burp position. And I'm going to just take the fabric from the shoulder that the baby's not on. So again, I don't, at this stage, don't care which one. And I'm just going to put that fabric between Robin's feet. I'm then going to put one hand on Robin's bottom, one hand on the head, and I'm going to switch shoulders. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So collect that fabric from my shoulder, take it down, and I'm going to put it between Robin's feet. I can then kind of slide Robin down my body. And what I want is I want this fabric to go into the back of Robin's knee. So that brings Robin's knees up and lets their bottom drop down. So it's what you've probably heard of the M position. Yeah, so it goes from their foot up to their knee, down to their bum, up to their knee, down to their foot. Yeah, there you go. Knee, no, foot, knee, bum, knee, foot. It's like a capital M, yeah? That should have Robin's head sitting on the firm part of my chest. And it does just about. Right, so what I'm then going to do is I'm going to find, oh no I'm not, no, I'm going to spread the fabric out. So now I need that one that's on my left shoulder, yeah? I'm going to, keeping Robin's hands up near their face, because generally that's where newborns want their hands. I'm going to take this left hand strap and I'm going to pull that across Robin's bottom and back so that it goes almost, doesn't quite, almost goes from the back of one knee to the back of the other knee. And I'm going to do exactly the same with this other one. Oh. Knee to knee and almost shoulder to shoulder, not quite. Again, it's the limitation of the width of this fabric. If it covers your baby's face like this, don't panic about it just now. We are going to sort that out before you go and get on about your day. But for a moment, it's nice and thin. It's not going to suffocate your baby just for a minute while we're finishing getting you don't want to let go and sort this out because baby's not quite secure yet. I'm then going to find this section of fabric. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it up Robin's back, nice and snug. So it takes some of the slack from these because there's too much fabric here. So it takes out some of that slack. Pulling it up like that, just rolling it up Robin's back. So I end up holding Robin and all three layers of the sling. 1, 2, 3. Now what Moby really want you to do with these long bits is take them behind you, and in this back panel there's a loop there. Now I don't know about you, I am not a contortionist. That is not comfortable. What they want you to do is thread this one through there that way, and then this one through there that way. So they cross over in that little loop there. I am not a contortionist. I find that really uncomfortable. What I'm going to do is, having spread it up Robin's back and got it nice and snug, I'm going to take those ends and I'm just going to take them behind me and cross them over. It does exactly the same job, I just haven't gone through that loop because I really don't have the joint flexibility for that. I'm then going to bring these straps round in front of me, and you can either just go over the baby's legs like this and tie under their bottom, or if you're concerned about tying it over their legs, take that, keep the tension on it. You want to keep it nice and snug, but then just take it under the baby's foot on both sides. Can we, Robin? Thank you. Oh dear, Robin, there you go. And then again, making sure it's nice and snug, going to tie a double knot under the baby's bottom there. So 1, 2. There we go. Don't faff about with fancy bows or anything like that. You want a nice double knot because it's going to be nice and snug and secure, and it's going to stay done up. Right, now, safety stuff. This is where we're going to deal with this. The safety guidelines say the baby should be nice and high on your body. They should be within kissable height. They've got their head on the firm part of your chest. You've got any soft squishy bits, baby needs to be above that. So head on the firm part of your chest within a kissable distance, nice and high. They should be nice and tightly held. You should be able to put your hand on the baby's head, do a little dip forward, and not feel their body weight pull away from you. Yeah. Now I have managed with this section to get Robin nice and snug against me. I suspect that as your baby gets bigger, it's going to be harder to do because it's just not going to, it's just not going to manage it. But at the moment, Robin is nice and snugly held against me. Hand on the head, little dip forward. I do not feel Robin's body weight move away from me at all. The last safety thing is that Robin should be visible. That's the problem with this. All I'm going to do, nice and simple to fix, I'm going to take my hand, put my hand under that strap so that my fingers are near Robin's face. I'm going to catch hold of this edge, which is covering their face, and I'm going to pull it out underneath like that. Now, it's a bit of a faff because it's sewn here. What that actually just ends up doing is it bunches up. What you don't want, and that's fine, it's just not terribly comfortable. What you don't want to do to get it away from their face is this. Because if I then dip this, you can see what that's done is pulled all of this fabric away from Robin, yeah? We want this support here. Oh, where's that one gone? There it is. But we don't want it over their face. So I'm not just going to pull it because it disrupts it here. So what I'm going to do is hand underneath and twist it out of the way. It then stays up near the nape of Robin's neck. It's still covering Robin's body, but it's away from their face. The downside is, like I say, because this is sewn, you don't get a proper twist like you do with a standard stretchy wrap, but it will do. Alternatively, you can buy little straps that you can put around there to kind of hold that as a gathered piece. I think Lorna at Courier with Love sells them. So go and check out her website, see if you can see them, or get in contact with her on her social media channels, and she may be able to find one for you. But yeah, otherwise, hand underneath so that your fingers come out near the baby's face, take hold of that edge and just twist it underneath. There we go. So, high, nice and high on my body, head on the firm part of my chest, above any soft squishy bits that you may or may not have. Nice and tight. If I put my hand on the baby's head, little dip forward, I don't feel their body weight pull away from me, and they're also visible. This means that I can see their face, I know that their airways are open, and that they're breathing, not to put too fine a point on it. High, tight and visible, safety guidelines, yeah? In terms of, some people ask about head support. Most of a baby in a sling or a carrier, most of their head support comes from getting their seat right. You want the baby to have that knees up, bottom down position, that proper seated position. What that does is it allows their spine to curl. They'll curl in towards you, and when they're relaxed, they're just going to rest their head on your chest. You might find sometimes you put your baby in the sling and the first thing they do is fling their head backwards and stare you full in the face, in which case pop a hand behind their head, spend a couple of minutes chatting to them, talking about your day, what your plans are, and then you'll feel them relax into you. And it's all just part and parcel of them getting to, I mean, obviously they know your voice, they know your smell, they know your voice from about 26-ish, 24, 26 weeks. Their ears are open and they can hear you in utero. But they need to learn to put your face to your voice. And so they will, in the very early weeks, spend a lot of time just looking at you. And that's just about working out whose voice goes with which face and, you know, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, just spend a couple of minutes chatting to them until you feel them relax into you. And then generally you can get on about your day. If you feel like you need more head support, then you can try, again, because it's all stitched in, I don't know how well it will work, but you can try to pull this section along. So it's the one behind the back of the baby's head. So it really doesn't matter which direction the baby's facing in. You can bunch one strap and spread the other. But yeah, you can try to use that as a little bit of extra head support. The other way to provide extra head support, should you need it, is to take a muzzy. This one's just folded in 4, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it, and what that creates the very aptly named muzzy sausage. And I can just tuck that in. I mean, you can try tucking it in the top of this outer layer. Yeah, that works in a sense. I mean, it depends how long your baby is. If your baby's too long to be able to let you tuck it into the top edge there, then you can just tuck it in between the shoulder straps. And just kind of provide a little bit of additional head support. That can be useful. For me, it's things like picking up after the dog. So I'm out on a dog walk and I've popped the baby in the sling. If I've got a lead in one hand and a poo bag in the other, I don't have a head free to be able to support their head when I bend down. Once I'm upright, I don't need this and I can then take it out. But for those brief moments where I don't have that hand free to support their head, I can pop that in just as an additional support, and then I can bend down when I don't have a free hand. Like I say, once you're upright, you're not going to need it. To get out of this sling, I'm basically going to reverse the process. So I'm going to undo the knot, unwrap that section. At this point, I'm going to start to support my baby because I'm taking that layer that was holding them in towards me away. Let that fall, and then I can open my cross sections. Baby's still sitting here, so I can still just support their upper back, and then I can get my hands around their torso and lift them up to my shoulder and free their feet. Oh, thank you, Robin. You can continue to wear your sling. I would say catch your long straps and either put them in a pocket or tuck them in the buckle bit there, because otherwise they're hanging around in front of you and they're going to be a bit of a trip hazard. Or you can undo your buckles and take the whole thing off. Like I say, Moby call it the Easy Wrap. I think they've misnamed it. I don't think it's a great option. I think a Close Caboo, an Ismi Baby Carrier, or the Koala Baby Care band are going to be much, much better options. If you have one of these, then as long as you can tick your safety boxes, it should work from birth-ish, but safety boxes, if you can tick your safety boxes, if you can get the baby nice and high, you can get the carrier nice and tight, and you can make sure your baby is visible at all times, then you're fine. But it's probably going to be outgrown around the 3-month mark, maximum. I don't see it lasting much longer than that. If you're not terribly overwhelmed by a standard stretchy wrap, opt for one of those. You can pre-tie it and just leave it on, pop the baby in and out through the course of the day as you need to. They're much easier than they look. I know they look scary, but honestly they're not. I'll link to my video of tying a stretchy wrap down in the description box below. But yeah, if you've got one already, this is usable. Make sure you're following your safety guidelines. I hope that helps. If you've got any questions, stick them in the comments section down below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thanks a lot.